Numbers had no reason to fly together. It was a misleading argument. All right? Now, if we obtain the Pizza Hut, I have said on several occasions, we obtain an architect and we figure out what the best move forward is. And we don't move all the offices up there right away. You know how many grants there is available for different styles of construction and sharing of services? I don't know where it's going to go.
But shouldn't we have done all of that you're now speaking of before we?
How can we?
Well, we could say, we're interested, Mr. Chairman, in the Pizza Hut, or whoever's got their fist on it right now, the county, I guess. May we please have access and have our consultants come out and assess the property?
$5,000 for the additional square footage, and we have documents out here that are being destroyed every minute we're sitting here, and we need additional space. We don't have to put any money into that thing right away. We can take our time,
But I don't think we
work
have to.
out what we have to do,
But we
and then
wouldn't
work
work
out
with the
how to
documents
pay
in
for
there.
it.
It's not $5,000. This is this is where we're at. It's $5,000 plus the back taxes, plus an easement,
Now,
plus
what's this
plus
piece
a
of paper
maintenance
say?
plus
Chris,
a
you're
maintenance
mixing
fee.
up a couple legal issues. Let me clarify, because this has been mixed up several times.
No.
Payment is actually not on the table for the purchase. The purchase is from the county, and the only purchase price
Right, I would agree.
is to make them whole. And you all, the reason that you don't have all of the information and the knowledge is because it's in negotiation stage, and we're not.
Okay.
Two
That's been
things,
treated
two
as
things.
zero, that's been treated as a figure zero right now.
At the moment, it's nothing, but you don't understand that the law does not allow landlocked parcels. You don't have that,
No,
so
we
we know,
understand.
we have so many remedies and so many possibilities out there.
We do.
It's almost a non-issue.
But they're
We
all
don't
dollar
have
figure
numbers.
possibilities.
Yes, you can't get something for nothing. You're going to pay for a building or a court. But to get this building, this is the only offer. So we'll skip to that resolution if you want. This is discussing just the purchase of the property that you
Counselor-
already made a motion on.
Counselor,
Just one second.
sure, go ahead.
And the price is, Bill, you want to read it as stated in the motion, or in the resolution?
I will introduce this resolution,
What the price is.
sponsored by William McLaughlin. Whereas, after due deliberation, the town board of the town of Palatine has reconsidered, and it is in the best interest of the town of Palatine to purchase the real property known as the Pizza Hut property from the county of Montgomery in consideration of payment to the county of Montgomery of $5,257.00, along with the responsibility to pay all deed filing fees and the 2019 town and county property taxes. Now therefore, be it resolved by the town board of the town of Palatine that $5,270 shall be paid to the county of Montgomery in consideration of the town of Palatine's purchase of the Pizza Hut property from the county of Montgomery, and that the town of Palatine shall, in addition to said payment to the county of Montgomery, be responsible to pay the recording costs of the conveyance along with the 2019 town and county property taxes. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, seconded by Sean Cotton. Is there any further discussion?
Yes, I'd like to discuss. Counselor, I appreciate your advocating for this, but it is also
I'm not advocating for this.
well. It
I'm
seems
not advocating for this. I'm trying to explain because there's a lot of muddying of waters.
Well, I'll
When
be-
you're talking about the additional cost, this money is only to make them whole for the taxes.
I understand.
In addition to that unknown number, is now because of the delay, the tax numbers have changed. Now we're into the 2019 tax roll. So now we're going to owe for that as well, the portion. But that's prorated. We can't determine it until the day the contract's signed. So that number has to be a little nebulous. Recording and filing recording fees in general for a deed, somewhere in the $250 range, $250. So it's not high.
I appreciate that, but it's our fiduciary responsibility to look at this and not just look at it at $5,200. We're to look at. We need to look at useful life of a facility when we make a purchase. The amount of money that has to go into this facility to make it suit our purpose. Okay, plus the purchase of the property to begin with. So all in, if we were to take a look at those numbers, when I mention numbers, I talk about even if we were the best negotiators, we came in and we'd still have to have a maintenance fee in perpetuity for the life of the building until we sell it.
Or you could just let it rot like this one.
Okay?
No, you have to have a fee with payment.
Yes, you can.
No, you don't necessarily have to have a fee with Cayman. You
Watch
do
what
not
happens.
understand the issues involved. I'm not going to.
I
I'm
actually
not
do
gonna
understand.
enter into that realm.
I do understand them. You're just being rhetorical right now.
At some particular point, though, we have to take a look at all in, and I believe all in on this property, we're looking at about $275,000 of cash outlay for
That's
the
your
town.
belief. You've presented that multiple times. It is not presented factually in agenda. It's only presented in motion minutes, that are repeatedly reiterated
Well, we
by you month
we
after
have
month.
not-
They are not fact, and they are muddying the waters.
We have not done our due diligence as a town, and I believe we
This town
haven't.
has done due diligence.
Ma'am, Counselor, I
disagree.
disagree with you.
That's fine.
Not only do I strongly disagree with you, but I would never buy a piece of property without having some sort of inspection services through here. And we've had the opportunity to do so, but we haven't availed ourselves to that.
So Frank
And-
mentioned, this is entering into a purchase with the county. We still have a lot of ground to cover before that is yours, and that is, we still have a contract that we have to negotiate all the details of. Yes, there are inspections, all of those things come along with it. You have to start with this, you have to start with a
purchase.
resolution. That's where we're starting.
I would be a lot more amenable to starting with a resolution that we would enter a memorandum of understanding before we make a purchase and allow us to do our due diligence before we expend any more time on this. Now, that would be just like if we were to make a contract for a piece of real property and it was contingent upon a number of inspections before we had a closing. So
I'm at the board's disposal. Board can tell me how they would like me to proceed, if they would like me to go back to county and suggest to county, we're going to enter into this memorandum of understanding prior to this, then I will do so. But the board thus far hasn't instructed me to do so.
Well,
I'm at the disposal.
what
of
do
the
you
board.
think is in the best interest of our town? To enter an MOU?
Financially speaking, this is the best deal you will ever find. Financial, and Greg does real estate deals all the time. He does it probably 80% of his work is real estate transactions. He is not negotiating any kind of unfavorable terms for this town. He has in fact negotiated very favorably thus far. We've not seen anything. You guys have had opportunities up at the town barn. You've had opportunities down here with the old school. You've had opportunities everywhere. Everything's been mixed. This is the best opportunity for the cheapest price. We recommend to the town when something is a bad thing, is a bad deal.
Does anybody else have any further discussion? We've
Jim
heard from
Telford's,
Chris.
yeah.
Anybody else on the board? We have a motion on the floor. Anybody else on the board have any further discussion? Okay, if there's no further discussion, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no.
No,
Opposed?
Okay, motion carried.
Maybe we have a roll call vote.
Bill,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes.
Betty,
Yes.
Chris,
No?
Hank.
no,
Okay, motion is passed.
May I, Supervisor, can I just finish briefly? Sorry. I had
Hey.
a long report. It's going to be short now. Employee handbook, it's at the printer. I wanted it here today, and I apologize. They should be within a couple days. We had a FOIL request. It's, I believe, been taken care of satisfactorily. It was made for financial documents. Kelly has very limited hours, so she's working on getting those. But those should be done within the next, I'm guessing, week or two. We had the website issues. I had sent emails out to everyone. I didn't get any responses back. Hopefully everybody heard. The guy, his name is Brian, and I can't remember his last name, at Canada Lake, took the blame. They had some server switch over, and he just pulled the original files and transferred them to the new server. As soon as I called him, he apologized, and it was down by the next day. So that's off permanently. The Facebook link is off permanently. Tax grievances, I've been working with the tax assessor. She may or may not mention that. We have a couple grievance issues that are still ongoing. ethics, we already discussed, and I have to make a mea culpa. I'm glad you're here today, Bill. I had told everyone with the ethics law, you don't need to have that disclosure form, and you don't under all the ethics laws in New York State, but you do under public officers law for elected officials. So those of you who are elected, I'm going to redraft the document. Your previous one, in any case, was not valid. So I'll redraft that. That'll be my at my cost, and I'll bring it to you for next month's meeting. So
The ones that, excuse me, Counselor, the ones
Those are
that we fill out and get
financial
sealed,
I don't think they're sealed. I think they're the normal financial disclosures for any elected official. I think
Okay.
you have to even file them maybe with the county or state. I'm not really sure. It's Board of
Okay.
Electors. I'll check into that. So I will be doing that. There is a complaint on the ethics board. Okay, solar. Maybe I won't even mention this. I think you mentioned solar in the last meeting or two, and there have been a lot of issues in the town of Florida regarding solar. So I just sort of want to jump in there and encourage you all to discuss with your counterparts at the town of Florida some of the things that are going on. They actually have the town of Florida and a community group working against a solar company that's coming in. Under the laws, they have a lot of funding that's available in order to supply community groups with legal assistance to fight them, which I will never understand. But in any case, that's there.
In that regard,
Yeah.
we're in pretty good shape. The discussion at the last meeting was about the fee for the building permit process. We previously passed the pilot law.
Right. I have a
So
copy.
that is where the money is. The fee, if you jack the fee to $5,000 or 5 cents, it's a one-time fee. In these large outfits, if there's 3 or 4 of them that eventually want to settle in Palatine, the difference in the fee isn't going to make any difference whether they come or not.
Okay.
So
Well, I was
it's
just bringing
something we
that up,
can
so we
deal with when all this other stuff is
well,
taken
Counselor,
care of first.
just to make you aware, there has been, I think Joe will fill you in. There's actually a lengthy application in, and the only piece of the puzzle that we're missing is they want to file a building permit, and we don't have a fee for that.
Oh, okay.
So that's
Well, then we should deal with it.
okay. We're gonna. I was hoping we deal with it tonight
Well, so
because
I mentioned that because I know you had mentioned it at the last meeting. I think it's a good idea to have a fee structure of some sort on that. So I'm good. I'm done.
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
Thank you. We need
Okay.
to approve the justice report.
Make a motion, we accept the justice report.
Second,
Is there a second?
yes.
Okay. No, if there's no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Dog control officer, she was just plain busy and consistent. You have a motion to accept the report?
I'll accept the report.
second.
Second. Okay, any discussion on her report? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Okay, dog control officer, assessor.
You know, she said she was gonna email me a report, but as of 6:15, I hadn't gotten one. She's, sitting at, grievance between 4 and 8 tonight, so,
Got a headache already. Okay. Code enforcement officer.
No.
That activity is picked up also.
Make a motion, we accept the code enforcement officer's report.
Can we have a second? Second. Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Town clerk.
I don't have anything to report.
Okay. Planning board.
Good evening. The last meeting finalized 2 subdivisions. Also a note on our planning board, we do have an opening again. Debbie Logan handed in her resignation, unfortunately. I don't know, did the board need a resignation letter? Do you have a resignation letter?
I didn't bring it tonight. I will be talking with Debbie some more.
Okay, so you do.
It will be at the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Steering committee, we're still trying to get our data collected, the last little bit of our data collected. What we'd like to do is, hopefully by the next meeting, have our data put together and have some sort of presentation for not only the town board, but also try to find a way to make it also public as well. Considering we look to the public for their feedback and input when we handed out the surveys, to at least give something back for them to see, to look at. And we also like to put goals together, to put into our comprehensive plan to also present to the town board as well. And to go what this is done was talking about, yes, we do have a solar project. That sounds like it finally has gotten off the ground. Most of the projects that come before us, they have to submit their plans to National Grid. They give them the okay. Most of the time it dies right before that, but it sounds like this is the one that's going to be. It's on Caswell Road. Caswell. It is, give you some rough numbers. Total acreage is 42 acres. That's for the whole site, not just the solar panels. This is like access road, the land in front of it, the road going out to the panels. The panels are actually only going to encompass 13.2 acres. This is a 5 megawatt system. Let's see. Do have, there was a larger map, and I think I gave that to another one of the board members.
Joe, isn't total disturbed area under 20 though, right?
Yes, yes. Everything else is pretty much gonna remain other than the road, the access road, which is pretty much gonna be a dirt road. Is gonna remain the same, nothing's gonna be disturbed. They are probably gonna have to put in a couple poles to feed out to the road. Here's my one copy. Just to give you the board a rough idea, if you don't mind.
No, okay. We really don't need it, but.
Yes.
Residential property in the immediate area.
Residential property is going to be, I believe,
On South Gray.
yes, in South Gray. I think it's just over here. I think it's an aerial. Yes, and very small, but they're all the residential, and the panels would be right,
There's only one that's really adjacent, huh?
yes.
Well, the neighbor had a situation where they were objecting to it. Should they stop the
Sorry.
project?
We would like to set up, depending on how many we need to have, series public hearings to do this. They actually want to get together with, depending on who wants to be involved, members of the board, to do like a conference call ahead of time with them. Get anything out on the table first.
Is there a sign-off provision for neighbors like there is with the
Oh, yeah.
towers?
Oh, yeah. It'd be anything.
Okay, so it'll get flushed out in a hurry?
Yes. So, I mean, we haven't gone through our secret application yet. We want to go through all those bullet points because this is a little bit more entailed than the normal, you know, I want to give 2 acres to Uncle Tom. So,
So the building permit process, prior to this sign-off deal?
right now we got to go through our site plan application before it even gets okay, before it even goes to the building permit thing.
Yeah, but his point here
Okay.
about the money flow in the
Yeah.
permit process in what we put into it.
Mhm.
What I'm after is the permit process up front, say we come up with a fee that's $2,000. They pay that and then the sign-off thing doesn't work and they're,
No.
No,
No.
we still do.
Yeah.
Actually, they can't file a building permit until they have your planning board approval.
So this
Correct.
is done.
Correct.
Correct.
Which
But-
that may take,
But we should have, why I'm trying to get a fee is they want to know what their fee's going to be on top of their pilot, okay? So they can figure out their cost
yeah,
moving forward.
yeah.
We're good. All right.
But they would like to get together.
That's yours.
That's your picture.
That's his.
That's
Too many papers.
But yes, as I said, they like to get together with whoever wants to be in on the planning board, on the town board, they like to do a conference call before the public hearing, which this planning board meeting coming up the beginning of June, we're gonna be going over this again with a fine tooth comb. Then any issues or matters that may come up, notate them, bring it to them, in front of them, or anything else that you as a board want to address with them.
Okay, we're at 5 megawatts. Do you have any idea as to how much they're going to be investing?
As far as the total project cost, that is a good question. And I would have to look through this. Most of the time they have it on a cover sheet. I wanted to say if I had to give a rough estimate of what it was like over 2 million. That's just my guess. But unless I have the number in front of me, I don't know.
On the building permit, the first page on the building permit, it should tell what the estimated cost is.
Yeah, on the beginning, yeah, that I'm not seeing.
And there is a building permit in there.
Yes,
There is a building permit application in there, I think.
special use permit, site plan.
The very bottom of the building permit, first page.
I think it just is the site, acreage, the size, but no price tag, no.
Well, what my question is all about here is building permit fees and cost of projects.
Yes.
And Mrs. Dunn has information from adjacent townships who are going through this. So I would like a little input from what's going on around this before we come up with fees, to try to keep ourselves competitive or in line with
Oh, yeah,
what's
of
going on
course.
around us. So, to finalize this tonight, unless you have further information.
Well, there's a couple of things at play here. Well, there's been several different towns have either used it a megawatt price point, or they've done it per acreage, because Cliff will have to walk the site several times all the way around. So it's not like a regular visit. Cliff's saying that it's not unusual for there to be half a dozen to a dozen visits in a project this size, and that other towns have attached
Maybe an inspection fee.
a megawatt price to cover the inspections fee. There's also, though, we should also bring this up while we're there, here, is there's also a decommissioning bond to be put up.
Yep.
And I know I believe, Counselor, you were involved in the original solar law, correct?
I think you guys passed one that we didn't do. If I'm not mistaken, you passed, I don't remember.
Or maybe Greg did it before.
I
can't remember.
recall. I can look it up.
Okay, because there is, I don't know what they had asked a number of questions about the bond, and
There's also another bond that I thought of.
Well, that's a big issue on the tail end of that project. That's an awful lot of junk out in the field when it's no longer productive.
Also, there was another bond that I thought of, when Artie was talking about paving roads. Putting up a bond, I mean, I don't know what it takes to move this equipment up to the said site. If they drive on our town roads and use our town roads and tear them up, have some sort of bond in place for that.
well,
as
it's
well.
not. This is just not panels. It's also a transformer and battery.
Oh, yeah,
on the
there's a
side.
lot of-
right. This
a lot
one
of
is this one's a little interesting, but I just want to give the heads up that yes, they were expecting they had mentioned the bond at the planning board meeting, so we should kind of know what it is. I'm not sure.
It's a
Bond is-
reclamation bond.
Well, we,
I used to
Well,
sell
they might, they may also have to put something up first.
You start out with a bid bond and a contractor's completion bond.
Okay.
For the project is completed in operational, and then the environmental bond, the bond at the end, and that's the one at the end of useful life that gets ticklish.
We'll wanna look into that more. I have to look up the actual solar law that the town passed.
okay, I just wanted to bring it up since we're at it here, and I would, I know the town of Florida was the first one to welcome was able to get a commercial solar plant around this size in, and I would suggest we piggyback on that fee structure if we're going to do it. But-
Decommissioning, I knew it was in here. If you wanted to take. a look.
They wanna have a pretty good pocketbook, or the insurance companies won't even look at it. So
What
they
is
have to
it,
be
Joe?
financially responsible.
167,000 they're estimating decommissioning is. Plus a contingency of about 8,000 in legal fees, probably for the
So
bond.
by those,
A lot of the early wind turbines that went up didn't contemplate taking them down, and there's a lot of landowners now, they got a lot of junk.
we thought the one in Nelson was gonna end up like the solar.
They're pretty
array.
far along though, they've actually paid the landowner
Yeah.
on this site, so,
I believe it, I don't know.
yeah.
Okay, to proceed with this, I don't want to put it off, but I want all the information that we can get to proceed, so we can tell these fellows how much we're permit, and at the same time, if there's legislation we need to pass, that takes time too. So,
Well, that was,
I-
I mean, they actually brought up the whole conference call idea themselves to get together with members of the planning board, any members of the town board that want to get together. Dunn, they actually recommended the Dunns if they could be in on it as well to get this all out.
Who's the company?
Next Amp, it's called.
Uh-huh.
Actually, I think I have.
Are they in Nelliston?
They
Are
are
they the
not.
same group?
No, they're out of Poughkeepsie,
Yes.
and they work, as the group that was in Nelliston works for, like, they find a municipality or a school or something. These people sell this power back at a reduced rate into the community.
Are these the guys at Fulton Montgomery? I mean, we could talk to people that have
I don't
experience. Okay, it's okay, I'll get the information.
Okay,
Look at it.
okay.
from what you're telling me, if they're anxious to meet, we might just as well meet with them, have maybe a couple of board members in your board and the attorney, and ask our questions and walk away from the meeting and have another town board meeting and decide what we should be doing here, because we can't proceed, we don't know enough to proceed.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Pretty much to protect ourselves.
Let me ask a question.
sure, go ahead.
Well, when we worked for this wind things, I asked him what the life expectancy of those things were, and the man said 20 years. I said, what happens after the